Hey ladies, I hope you can hear me, see me. Welcome to tonight's training class. I'm going to give everybody just a minute to jump on here with us before we get started. I don't want anybody to miss anything. I know last week had a little confusion in our group because we have the Lady Jeepers.com private Facebook group. And I know there's a little confusion in the group as to what page and where the training would be. So I just want to make sure everyone has a couple minutes to get in here. I don't want anybody to miss anything. So we're live. We are doing a 3-part training series going over the winch, like how to use the winch, all the different pieces that go with that. So tonight's live training class is going to be class number 1 out of 3, where we're covering kind of winch basics overview, safety, how to use your winch, and the recovery gear that goes with it. So for tonight, we are just doing the winch safety overview and what product you need. So I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for being here tonight with me. I know it's a little later this evening for tonight's class. Just keep an eye out. I'm going to do reminders before our next classes, but they will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we had to do just a little bit later. So thank you for being here with me a little bit later this evening. So first of all, I just want to say welcome everyone to tonight's winch training class number 1. And tonight for class number 1, we are just going to cover winch safety overview and what product you're going to need. So we broke it up because there's so much to cover when we're talking about using a winch. So tonight is just going to be the winch safety overview and what products you're going to need. And then that's what we're going to cover for tonight. So I just want to tell you, I am Kristen DeLibero, and I am from LadyJeepers.com. And I want to thank you for being here and for joining me this evening for tonight. I'm so excited. So I will jump back over and look through the comments and the questions at the end of this training. So the way that I'm doing this training so that I can share these slides and the training material with you as we're going through it for visuals and different things I feel like we need as we're learning and we're going through this training. The program, the software that I'm using, I'm not able to see any comments, so I can't see who's on with me right now or see any of the comments. So I apologize. But when we're done with the training class, I will jump back over. That way I can see your comments, questions. So I'll jump over there at the end of the training. I just wanted you to know, I don't want anybody to think I'm ignoring anything as we're going through this tonight. So let's start with what safety products you need to have, especially if a situation comes up where you're going to need your winch. And something I just want to touch on really fast is, the safety upgrades that have been made over the years has been amazing. They're trying to make it safer for us. If we're in a situation where we need to use our winch, any recovery gear, it's amazing the safety innovations that have come out, and things just seem to be getting better and better as far as safety for us so that we're less likely to get hurt if we're using a winch or doing recovery. So that is really exciting. So we're going to start with number 1. You need to make sure that you have a winch and it's mounted on a winch bumper. Another thing to think about too is make sure it's connected and that it's working. Make sure it's wired in, it has power. So we're going to talk about, this is an aftermarket bumper on the right. Over here, that you can buy to replace your stock bumper. That's over here on the left. So when you go to mount and to get a winch, you want to make sure that you get an aftermarket bumper that you're going to be able to mount your winch on. And there are a lot of different bumpers out there that you can choose from. And, a lot of it is what you like, what kind of bumper. So there's what they call the stubby bumper, which is going to be a little bit shorter. It's not going to be the full width of the Jeep. It's what your personal preference is. They've also come out with these recessed winch bumpers. So like this black one over here is actually a crawler concept. And this orange Jeep down here has a totally recessed winch bumper, and that is by Extreme Terrain. And then these two are Moto built bumpers. This is actually the bumper that I have. This is how my winch sits. So it's mounted on top of the bumper. But so they've come out with so many new different things. So like I said, you have different aftermarket bumpers that you can get where the winch is either going to sit on the top, where it's recessed, and like this one, to me, the winch is completely recessed and hidden um, in that bumper. I'd never seen that bumper before, so I'd be interested if anyone out there has a recessed winch bumper like this, where it's almost like a hidden winch. I would love to hear from you if you like it and how it works. I've never seen it. So it's exciting to see all the new things that are coming out that are available. So again, this is going to be a personal preference, but you just want to make sure that if you buy a winch, you know that you're not going to mount that on your stock factory bumper. You're going to want to upgrade to a bumper that you can mount your winch on. And again, there's full width and there's the stubby bumpers, whatever, this is your build, whatever you like, whatever looks good to you. There are benefits with the stubby bumper, which does not come out the full width of the Jeep. The benefit on that is if you're doing obstacles like rocks, you're out on rides, it's going to allow the tire to come to the obstacle instead of like if you're a full width bumper, sometimes the bumper is going to hit the obstacle before the tire can get there, depending on the approach and depending on, if the Jeep is off camber or how it's approaching. So that's just one benefit of the stubby bumper. Again, it all depends on, looks too, depending on what fenders you're doing or going to do might affect if you want a full width or a stubby bumper. Again, no right or wrong. You just want to make sure that you have the correct bumper so that you can mount your winch. So number 2 is the winch safety hook. So this is a Warren winch. And as you can see, this is the type of hook that is going to come, I guess, kind of stock, as we're talking stock and factory versus modification. So this would be what is going to come with your winch. When you buy a brand new winch, this is what is going to come on it. Now, there are winches that are coming out that have some different hooks on them, but this is what you're going to see like from the factory right now when you order a winch. So we recommend that you upgrade to a Factor 55 hook or something equivalent to that. I have shared before, I am not endorsed by anybody. Everything that I am sharing with you is what we use, what we love, what we believe in. So I'm going to tell you that I am a proponent for the Factor 55 hook. That would be my personal recommendation if you're going to upgrade. And again, this is for safety. This is a hardware that is safer. As I've said, they're coming out with all these different safety things for us so that we have a lesser chance of getting hurt if we're in a situation where we need to use our winch or any of our recovery gear. So this is, again, an upgrade from what would come on the winch that is going to be safer. And there's multiple designs that you can pick from. As you get into using the winch and for recovery, these different designs are going to give you different options. As you can see on this one, you're going to have different options of where you can set your D-ring or your shackle to as you're using your winch or a strap or your recovery gear. So look into it. There's lots of different models out there now. Factor 55 makes quite a few different types of these new hooks to replace the D-ring with. So think about that. We're talking safety tonight. So then the next thing is number 3. We recommend that you need to replace your winch cable line with a synthetic rope line. Again, we're talking about safety upgrades to help keep us safer when we're out in a winch situation. So, these are things that have come out that are there for us. I know sometimes it might feel like, gosh, every time I turn around, I need to be upgrading and buying something different. Well, tonight, this is all about safety. So this has nothing to do with looks. This has nothing to do with, this new thing came out. This is all about safety. These are safety upgrades that you can make that are going to keep you safer when you're out there if you get into a situation where you're going to use your winch and recovery gear. So this is a little different. These upgrades are beneficial in the fact that they really are something you need to think about doing as you're thinking about going out to be doing more driving off road. So the cable is dangerous when it breaks. It goes live, is what they kind of call it. When it breaks, I mean, it'll shear anything if it is at a high enough speed when it breaks. Because you got to think there's all that tension when it breaks. It's kind of live. It's like a live wire flying through the air, and it can cut and it can slice and it can do damage. Um, so this new synthetic rope is supposed to be stronger and safer than having the wire. So especially if you're in a situation where it could break, it's going to be safer to have the synthetic rope than it is the cable. And the synthetic rope is supposed to last longer. We just upgraded in this picture. This is my YJ. It had, you can see this is an older winch on it. So it had the cable line, and we went ahead and just switched it out for the synthetic rope. And then I actually had to use it the weekend after to recover somebody else. It's supposed to be stronger. I like the way that it works. For me personally, as a lady out there, when you're having to pull the cable out and you're winding it back in, I felt like it was much easier. The wire cables can, sometimes they'll like want to try to kink or twist, or to me, they're a little heavier when you're trying to get them pulled out and a little bit harder to spool back in. So I have to say, from actual usability, I felt like the synthetic rope line, not only was it safer, but I felt like it was a little easier for me to handle on my own. I didn't have the wire line that, I was trying to pull and move and push to, because I actually had to use a snatch block and a tree saver, and I had to make an angle. So it was kind of a long pull of line. So I felt like the synthetic rope was really easy for me to handle and use, as well as I felt a little bit safer using it as well. So now we're still talking safety. So another safety upgrade that you can make that has just come out. These really are a big innovation when we're talking about safety, is to replace your D-ring with a soft shackle. And again, so this is your traditional D-ring. I know we all probably have them. I have them on all of my Jeep. And these are the new soft shackle that they have come out with to replace the D-ring when you're attaching it to the vehicle, when you're attaching it, using it in a recovery. But again, this is supposed to be to enhance our safety. And this new product is starting to gain momentum, and you're seeing it used more and more. And again, just like all products, if you're going to buy a soft shackle, you want to make sure that you're buying from a reputable company who makes them. So I am going to recommend Bubba Rope and Duraline as my two. If you want to go ahead and upgrade and get away from the D-ring shackle and go to a soft shackle. Again, they're supposed to be safer. They're supposed to be strong. I don't know if you've ever seen, but these D-rings, they can bend and they can start to crack. And if you're out there using them in a situation and putting a lot of stress and a lot of strain on them, if they do go to bend, even if this D-ring itself does not break, if it goes to bend and you lose attachment to, whether it be, your winch cable, a strap, whatever you're using, then again, you're going to have a live strap or a live wire or a live rope, whatever it may be, that's going to come unattached if one of these does break. So again, this is just another safety upgrade that you can be thinking about as you're looking into getting all of your gear. So another thing that you're going to need. So now, and we're getting out of safety, and now we're talking about things that you're going to need. So recovery gear is something that you're going to have in your Jeep, especially for a winch or recovery situation. So, you can buy the recovery kit that has everything together for you. In fact, we just gave one away. I'm getting ready to ship it out. I can't wait to send it. I think everybody needs to have a recovery kit in their vehicle. You can buy each piece individually. I believe it's a little easier to get the kit because you get a bag, you get everything that you're going to need all in one. And I do recommend the worn recovery kits. You know, they're all this kind of the same. They're all going to have the same pieces, the same products in it. It's just, who are you going to go with? Who makes it? We have Warren. I like the Warren winches. I like their products. We have their recovery gear. We've had to use their recovery gear and it's always lasted and it's always worked well. So I like to recommend something that I know is going to work and that I trust and I believe in. So again, I would recommend the Warren recovery kit. So here are the things that you're going to need to make sure that you have in your recovery kit and in your vehicle every time that you go out for a ride or go to an event. So the first thing is gloves. And this is really important to have with you if you're going to have to do your winch, especially if you have cable. But even with the synthetic rope, if you're going to have to use your winch, you want to make sure that you have gloves. This way you have gloves as you're pulling, either your hook, um, your upgraded factor 55 hook, or having to, pull the hook and the rope if you have a long span. It's nice to have gloves, and especially for when you are spooling it back in. And we're going to cover in depth in our next class. So next week, in this series, class number 2, we are going to go over how you correctly guide the line back in. We go in depth on all of that so that it's spooled correctly. But tonight, I just want you to know that make sure you have gloves so that you can protect your hands. Next thing that you want to have in your kit is a snatch block. So now all 3 of these are different types of snatch blocks. You can see what's similar about all of them, and then they're all just a little bit different. And again, we're going to go over how to use all of this next week in our class number 2. But for tonight, you want to make sure that you have a snatch block in your kit and in your vehicle at all times. And this allows you to set up for a multiple kind of point pull if you need to add a ratio depending on how you're pulling, what you're pulling. And it also allows you to hook the snatch block to a tree saver, to a tree, or to another anchor if you're going to need a different angle. So if you're not going to be going straight and you need an angle, so you say you need to come here off a tree and then go over. I hope you can see my pointer. Uh, this is what you're going to need the snatch block for. And again, you can also use it if you're doing a straight recovery. There's different ways you can run it that is going to increase the ratio. So it's going to increase the amount of strength in the pull, but it's going to decrease the amount of force that you have to use with your vehicle as you're making the pull. So it's going to take some of the stress off of your vehicle as well. So again, this is something that you want to make sure that you have in your vehicle. And again, I had to use it a couple weeks ago, so it's nice to have those. Make sure that they're in there. Then the next thing is a tree saver. So I just want to remind you that, we want to tread lightly and we want to leave the least amount of damage as possible when we're out on a ride, when we're out in an event, whatever it is we may be doing out in our Jeep. We want to make sure that we're taking care of where we're at and allow us to continue to get to ride and have trails. So the tree saver is different than a strap. So as you can see on the inside of the tree saver, you're going to see that there is padding that is to help protect the tree itself from damage. So anytime you're going to have to anchor to a tree and to use a winch, you want to make sure that you use a tree saver. I know sometimes not everyone has one. I've seen people just use their winch cable around the tree, kind of in a bad situation. But we want to be doing the right thing and be having the right practices when we're out there at our rides and our events and doing different things. So anytime you're going to need to use your winch, use a tree as an anchor point, or if you're going to add a snatch block to it at the end, always make sure you use a tree saver strap so that you're helping the tree. So hopefully, when you're putting a lot of stress on that tree, especially in a specified spot, one location, that you're not going to do damage and risk, killing the tree or damaging the tree. when you're out there riding. So then the next thing is the recovery strap. So the recovery strap looks a lot like the tree saver. The recovery strap is going to be longer. Um, and as you can see, these are three different types of straps. Again, they're all pretty much the same. Um, so whoever you want to go with, you just want to make sure that your strap has two openings, one on each end, so that you can run your D-ring either through one, so that you would put both straps together, run one D-ring through. You can, again, we're going to go over this next week. There's lots of different things that you can do with those. So then another thing, and you don't see these very much anymore, but this is something that I want to bring up when we're talking about safety and what you need to have in your vehicle for recovery is a strap damper. You're not going to hear this a lot. I know you don't see them as much anymore, but this is for safety too. So what this does is you're going to put this over your winch line so that if it were to break, it is going to deaden the line so that it is only going to be live from where it breaks to the strap damper, so that way, if it were to break, that is going to kill it. So basically, if it's going to fling through the air, it's going to hit that and it's going to drop it to the ground. It's going to kill it and take all of the energy and the force out of it. So this really does help to ensure safety as well. It's just one more precaution that we can use, that we can do to make sure that we're safe. I will say a sweatshirt in a pinch can work. You can put that over your cable if you're using your winch as well. But again, we're talking about having the right pieces of equipment tonight. So, make sure that you get a strap damper as well, and have it in your vehicle. Again, in a pinch, a towel or a sweatshirt will work. But it's nice to have the right equipment when we're out there. So then another safety tip that I want to talk about is always check your equipment. So before you're going to a ride or to an event or heading out for a weekend, go back through what we just talked about tonight. Make sure that if you have a wireless remote, make sure that your remote is charged. That's something that I had never had a wireless before. We put a wireless in the JKU and didn't know that you had to charge the battery first. But to really make it wireless and cordless, you need to make sure it's charged. So before you head out, make sure that remote is charged. Then if you have, I call it a traditional remote. But if you have a remote that you're going to plug into the side of your winch, you want to check it. Make sure that, all the prongs look good. None of the prongs are bent, so that you're going to have an issue when you go to hook it up. Look at the cord. Make sure that the cord is in really good shape. There's no tears, frays, parts coming apart, so that everything is good when you go to plug in the remote. The other thing is you want to check the cords and the wire connections so that your winch has power and is working. So if it ever loses connection and loses power, it's not going to work. It's not actually going to get power to the winch. So also check the winch line. So before you go out for the weekend, go ahead and spool out maybe the first, 5, 6 feet, maybe all the way up to 10 of your winch line, especially if it's older and you don't use it very much. If it's a new line and you haven't been using it, maybe check it every couple rides. But if it's an older line, make sure that you're checking it before you head out there, just to make sure that, again, it's not frayed, pinched, it doesn't have damage done to it where it's going to lose some of its strength if you do have to go to use it. And then look at all your recovery equipment. So everything we just went over, your tree saver, your strap, look at your, I just drew a blank. Look at your snatch block. Look at everything. Make sure that there is no fray, especially with the ropes. Make sure that they're not fraying. Make sure that there's no damage. And make sure that it's all in good working condition so that if you get out there and you need it, it's going to work for you. Because, again, being safe, we want to make sure we have the right equipment, but we want to make sure it's in good working condition. If you go to pull a strap out and it is frayed or starting to tear, That's not a strap you want to use for recovery if you're in a situation. So always check it before you get out there and replace it if you need to. Another thing to go through all your recovery equipment and make sure that you have everything together and that it's packed. So make sure it is actually in the vehicle. It's all together. You have everything you're going to need before you head out. So this is just going to help you as kind of like your pre-checklist before you go out, before you head to a ride, an event, trail ride. You know that you're going to have everything you need. You know it's in good working order. It's going to work if you need it. The winch is looking good. So you're doing your prep time at home to make sure you're good for the weekend, because there is nothing worse than getting into a situation where you need to use something and it's crucially important and it doesn't work right. That is no fun for anybody. So again, at the end of this training, I'm going to go ahead and post this training download, and it's a PDF that you can download. I will put it in the comments below this live video. So in the comments for this live video, I'm going to post the training download so you can download the PDF and have all of the information from tonight. So, you'll have all of the actual winch and the pieces and the overview of what you're going to need, what you can upgrade. And then also you're going to have all of the recovery gear that you need as well. So all in one place for you. So I will post that as soon as we get done tonight with our live training. And I just want to thank you for taking the time this evening, for being here with me. I know it's a little bit later. So tonight we covered the winch safety overview and what product you need in this training class. So it's class number 1 tonight. So mark your calendar. So our training class number 2, which is using your winch and recovery gear, is going to be next Wednesday, which is September 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it'll be right here again. Next week's going to be a little bit longer class, so I want to let you know up front because there's so much to cover with using your winch and using the recovery gear, how to hook it up, how to use it, when to choose what to use. So it is going to be a longer class. That's why we tried to break them into 3 different classes. I know class number 2 next week is going to go the longest. So much information. So I just wanted to let you know up front. I try to keep everything short, so it's easy to take in the information. It's broken into little pieces, easy to kind of go step by step. Next week might be a little overload. It's going to be a lot all at once, but I hope that you're going to join me. So put it on your calendar. Join me for the next class in this series. So it's training class number 2. So I also want to share with you for a minute what we have going on right now from LadyJeepers.com. So we are in the process of finishing up, putting the finishing touches on our full training program and our interactive website. So there are some really neat things that are going to be coming up from us at LadyJeepers.com. So that's what we're working on. And for you guys, we have our September giveaway drawing. So like we talked about tonight, we're doing this winch series. September, we're focusing on the winch, how to use the winch, everything that goes with that. So our giveaway for September is going to be a set of the soft shackles that we talked about tonight. So all you have to do is jump over to ladyjeepers.com and you can click on this September giveaway drawing and get entered. And it is free, completely free to enter. And we're going to give this away September 5th. So just keep an eye out for that as well. But I want to make sure you get over there, get entered. It's free. Everyone likes to win stuff. It'll be fun. But we wanted to make sure that anything that we're giving away from ladyjeepers.com is something that is going to be something you need and you can use. So again, this is a little newer product, these soft shackles, but we're talking safety. So, we are really trying to push safety. That's the most important thing. So hopefully you'll jump over there, ladyjeepers.com, get entered for our September giveaway drawing, and hopefully you'll win the set of 2. So now I'm going to jump over so I can see. Let's see. So if anybody has any comments or any questions for me, let's see if anybody comments. Well, if you have any questions, I want to leave them in the comments. And I'm gonna go ahead and as soon as we get done, I will put the downloads from tonight, which will have all of the training materials. It'll have pictures so that you can see the different pieces of equipment and everything in it. And if for some reason, as soon as we get off here, I'm going to take a look at the video. If for some reason it did not show my slides, I will go ahead and redo this video with the slides and then just put it up as a video, not as a live. But I want to thank you ladies for being here with me tonight. I'm going to share that as soon as we jump off. So go ahead and grab the download. That way you'll have all the information, everything that you need, and everything in one place for you. And I hope you will join me next Wednesday for our next class in this training series. And have a wonderful night, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, guys.